Welcome to Gentle Yoga. Hello, if you're new, I'm Cindy. I'm happy to have you. Just before we begin, I'd like to mention a few things that might be useful and helpful for your practice today. I like to have a bolster, and I know not everybody has a bolster lying around, but a pillow works as well for under your knees as needed or under your seat. You can also use a blanket for that. And I also like to use a long scarf. I like mine extra long, and I'll demonstrate why later. So if you don't have an extra long strap or scarf, it's okay. Use what you have, and I'll give options for how to work with this in a couple different ways. So in case the length isn't appropriate, we can still make good use of it. We're going to begin in a seated position. For me, I'm going to sit on the bolster with knees crossed, and you can sit in a way that's comfortable for you. I'm going to have us lift the shoulders up and roll them back, and do that a couple more times. Lift the shoulders up, roll back, and get a sense of what might be in the shoulders as we meet the movement with awareness. Meaning, if there might be some tension in there that we could let go of, we'll allow ourselves to use that exhale as we drop the shoulders to visually see the tension dissolving and feel just the heaviness of the arms falling back to earth, carrying that tension off the body. And one more time. Yeah, now we're going into a breathing exercise. Very simple, but can be really supportive in bringing ourselves to present and drawing some moisture to the mouth, which is the goal. We're going to trick the body into believing that it's eating to create some saliva in the mouth. And what that does is it brings moisture into the mouth, which creates some heat in the digestive fire center of the body. So it's very simple. We just take the tongue to the roof of the mouth as we inhale. And as we exhale, we lower the tongue. Now this can be done with the eyes open or closed. We'll simply inhale, let the tongue lift to the roof of the mouth. And exhale, lower the tongue. Now all your inhales should be done through the nose. Your exhales can be done through the mouth or the nose. I recommend trying through the nose. If you need to exhale through the mouth, you can do that. And we'll do a few rounds of this breathing on our own. Eyes open or closed, your choice. And think about when you lift the tongue, maybe curl it back a little bit too. So as you lift the tongue to the roof of the mouth, slide it back towards those tonsils. And then lower as you exhale. And just bringing our attention into the moment. Now roll your tongue around your mouth, see if there might be a little extra moisture there. We want to be bringing some moisture to the mouth, some heat to the hands and the feet in our practice. Let's bring the hands together, rub them together. So most of our energy is concentrated in our torso and our internal organs, and as we stimulate and move energy into the arms and legs, especially in preparation for any stretching, we start to bring energy out into the limbs. Interlace the fingers and roll through the wrists now. And reverse direction. Good, starting to bring some energy out into the hands. Go ahead and interlace the fingers, push the heels of the hands towards me. Good, pull the backs of the hands to the heart, and then push the heels of the hands to heaven. Pull the backs of the hands towards the top of the head. Now push the hands over towards, we'll call it the flower arrangement side of the room and the orchid behind me. And pull the hands back to the top of the head, neutralize the spine, and then we'll press the hands over into a side bend towards the footstool side of the room. So those are our landmarks for our class today. Come back to the center and let the hands come, palms towards the back of the head. Push the back of the head into the hands and the elbows back. Feel a nice expansion across the chest and breathe in. Tongue to the roof of the mouth. Breathe out. Drop the tongue and press the arms out. Good. Palms up. Inhale. Tongue to the roof of the mouth. Hands behind the head. Exhale. Relax the tongue and push the arms. Good. Flexing the wrists here. Do that one more time. Rotate. Palms up. Tongue to the roof of the mouth. Holding the breath. Exhale, drop the tongue, push the arms out. Flexing through the wrists. Relax the wrists. Hold the breath out. And release the arms. Very nice. Let's bring the arms forward. And the wrist back towards the shoulders. Take the hands, crossing them over to the opposite shoulder. Good. And we'll add some self-massage here to the lungs. Just rolling in, just under the collarbone, where you feel that little divot under the collarbone, as close to the shoulder as you can get. Good. Now taking the arm closest to the orchid, draw it out to the side, and we'll do some arm circles. Again, trying to bring some energy out into the limbs from the torso. So as we roll the arm back, notice the shoulder stays down and relaxed, doesn't come up to the ear, and the elbow is bent. And we do some slow circles for the shoulder with some pressure of the opposite hand in that shoulder so it doesn't roll too far forward, and we keep a little pressure on that lung point. And then visually see energy flowing from the torso, from the heart into the arm, and see if you can feel it landing in the hand, slowing down the movement. Adding the breath now. Inhale, let the arm rise, and exhale, let the arm fall. 2 more like that. Inhale and exhale. So it's a lot to be aware of here. The breath, the movement, and the visualization. That's how we really create change in the body and concentration. Now we're reversing the movement. Bring the arm back. And then as though you're swimming, front stroke. Keep pushing on the front of the shoulder. So as you come forward, hold that shoulder in place in the shoulder girdle. That's right. And just imagine here, using your creativity to imagine, what are you drawing forward? Think about, what would you like to draw more forward into your life? Is it more peace, more calm, more confidence, more abundance? Draw that forward. One more, and this time we'll draw it all the way forward and across to the opposite shoulder. Take the opposite arm, bring it out to the side. Give it a shake if you need to. And then we'll begin to open the shoulder. We tend to have a lot of tension here. We're just imagining unwinding anything that's wound tight in the shoulder. Just imagine if you can visually see unwinding a ball of yarn, for example. Notice how I'm not lifting my arm too high over the head. Just working with what's here in my own shoulder. So work with what's in your body. What are you noticing, and how would that movement that you're creating serve to unwind something tight, stuck, restricted, and then reverse. Imagine, what would you like to bring forward to support the shoulder? What would you like to bring more into the foreground of your life? Maybe that's intuitive, still, small voice that gets trampled on by the busyness of a hectic kind of time in our life. And bring it forward one more time. Nice, and seeing all the energy flowing into the arm, bring it across into the opposite shoulder. And then we'll just brush down the arms, this comforting sense of bringing ourselves back home to our center. And then taking the breath, again, same thing, tongue to the roof of the mouth, breathe into the belly. Imagine the belly rising as you inhale. And exhale, relax the tongue and relax the belly. This can be done with eyes open or closed. Breathe into the belly, lift the tongue. Exhale, relax the tongue and the belly. And we'll do a couple rounds of 4-7-8 breathing, which is a relaxation breath I like to share. It's so impactful and works very quickly. So it's an inhale through the nose, 4 counts. Lift the tongue. Hold for 7 counts. And then lower the tongue and exhale for 8 counts. Good. Everything we talked about. Tongue to the roof of the mouth. Inhale 4 counts. Breathe into the belly. Hold for 7. Keep the tongue to the roof of the mouth. Exhale, drop the tongue, relax the belly, 8 counts. One more round. Try to keep the shoulders down, hold that in for 7, keep the tongue lifted. Drop and relax everything, 8 counts. And let the hands come onto the knees. Very nice. Now bring your shoulders over towards that footstool. And then towards the orchid. And notice the side bending in the spine. There's an S shape in the spine. Although it's not rotating, we can create an S shape in the spine with side bends. And then moving the chest forward, bend forward, and we'll go right into circling the spine in S shape. Still no rotation of the spine. We do have an extension forward and a flexing back slightly into that lumbar. A couple of you requested lumbar support, so noticing as you do these movements how that's landing in the low back for you, adjusting as needed. And as we come back, we'll uncross the legs and recross in the opposite order just to have a sense of balance on both sides as we move our body again side to side. There's a tendency to want to make the movements happen from the shoulders, but can you take your attention, your awareness down into your obliques and let the strength of your obliques shift your torso from side to side, keeping your spine stacked, meaning it's not leaning forward or back. And then coming over towards the orchid side of the room, lean forward and begin creating those circles. Same thing, without you leading with the shoulders, see if you can Let your oblique strength, all the strength, all the core muscles, your low back, your abdominals, your obliques, all working to create movement. And imagine then seeing inside your body and imagining energy rising up from the base of the spine and coming up and out the arms, starting to flow down into the roots of your tree, into your legs and into your feet. And then come back to the beginning, seated, neutral position. Uncross the legs, but this time bring the soles of the feet towards each other. And we'll take the hand closest to the flower arrangement, extend that leg, and then go ahead with the knuckles of this hand, scrub the sole of the foot. Again, we're trying to bring energy to the limbs, and as we bring attention and friction to heat up the feet, we bring blood circulation there. Now, anything that feels good to massage your foot, go ahead and add that in there. I like to go out and squeeze a little bit on each of these toes, and then get in between each of the toes with a little bit of pressure to call energy all the way to the feet, and especially the big toe. Go ahead and give it a good squeeze, pinch, and pull off the big toe. That's the way. And then do the other side, pull that foot in, extend the other leg, take the knuckles of the hand, and go ahead and scrub the sole of the foot. At the sole of the foot, we have a point nicknamed the bubbling spring in Chinese medicine that is responsible for allowing energy from the earth to come into the body through the feet. And we want to stimulate that point, keep it open and remove any congestion. Go into the toes. Good. There's reflex points on our feet that correspond to every area of our body. Get in between each toe. And especially that big toe. They say death begins in the big toe. That's because it's the furthest from the heart, and so it's hard to pump blood and circulation into the big toe. So we can support by giving a little self-massage here, and then bring the soles of the feet together, pull the heels in and come up with the spine, and then exhale, hinge forward. And not only are we going into the low back with this stretch, but we're feeling it in the hips. And let the knees draw towards the floor, towards the earth. And one last time, bring our attention to that breathing with the tongue. Inhaling, tongue to the roof of the mouth, crown of the head reaching towards me. Exhale, drop the tongue. Reach the crown of the head a little further towards me, but keep your sits bones reaching down and back. Feel the spine lengthen, breathe in, tongue up. Exhale, tongue down. Relax the shoulders, one more. Tongue up, inhale. Tongue down, exhale. And then come back up to seated. Wonderful. Now again, let's extend the leg close to the flower side of the room. Tuck the foot in, and you're welcome to remove your support under your hips if you'd like to. We'll go into a side bend, starting by bringing the arm in the direction of the flower arrangement, and then releasing the arm down to the floor with the elbow to the inside of the knee. Sweep the opposite arm towards the flower arrangement, and then lift it up and overhead, stacking the shoulders. Now reach up as high as you can, and as you exhale, reach towards that foot as you flex the foot. Now you're welcome to use your strap placed around your foot. Hold with the arm to the floor. And then gazing up at your hand that's reaching up, if that supports your neck. And see if you can imagine leaning up against a wall behind you, an imaginary wall. Bring both shoulder blades to that wall. And let the arm come towards the toes, or the fingers towards the toes, I should say. Keeping yourself leaning up against that imaginary wall. And then rising up again, imagining using the strength of your abdominals to do your lifting and not your shoulder. Great. Now bring the foot in. And we'll move into a cross-leg position. So the foot that was just extended is in front. And we can use our blanket or a pillow to prop ourselves up as we come forward as needed. And reaching again, sits bones back and down as the crown of the head reaches towards me. We hinge forward from the hips. And then noticing not only are we getting a hip stretch, but the low back. Getting a nice hello. And we can imagine breathing into the low back. Imagine seeing space opening up in that low back. Noticing what the body is sharing with you in terms of feedback and sensation, and having appreciation and gratitude for the intelligence of the body. Even if we're tight in certain areas, it's just its own defense against injury, and so we can support the intelligence of the body with presence, awareness, and allowing lots of space for our body to adjust to the position that we're imposing upon it. And also sending positive images, like a little mini movie, into the area of our body where sensation is rising, and seeing flow and hydration, balance, support, all flooding in, giving the body the resources it needs. And then slowly use your core strength to come up. Take your time in coming up, checking in. Bring the knees together, and we'll untuck that foot on the opposite leg, extend it out to the side, and prepare for our side bend in this direction. We'll begin by extending the arm out towards the footstool and releasing that arm to the inside. Drawing the opposite arm over, starting by crossing over, creating a big circle, rising up and looking up. Feeling lift in the spine, strength in the core, and then slowly moving into that side bend. Take the gaze up, roll the shoulder back, imagine pushing into that imaginary wall. Set yourself up if you need it with the strap on the foot. If you can't quite reach the foot and you want to flex it and draw back on that, that's a little more advanced, but it'll give you a little extra length on the back of the leg. We're more after a side body stretch here, but we can get both. Good. Notice the wrist is soft, elbows bent. Reach a little deeper into the stretch if you have the capacity. We'll rise up again. Let the abdominals do the work. Building core strength. So the more we build the strength around the core, meaning our low back, our abdominals, and our obliques, the less likely we are to have problems with our back. So we want to think about our core strength. Now, the foot tucked in front, we'll do another forward fold here, and you'll notice a difference on this one in the hips. So you may have one side that's a little easier than the other. I definitely do. My right side's tighter. So It's just about awareness, noticing where patterns are and giving our body the support it needs to unwind them when it's ready. Lots of space and permission here. At any point, you're welcome to continue the breathing with the tongue to the roof of the mouth on the inhale, dropping on the exhale, and just continue to notice how much moisture enters the mouth as you do that. We want to go into the later years of our life hydrated, moist. Think of it like a brand new baby when they're born. Their mouth is full of saliva. They're drooling all the time. Just moist, plump, wet, juicy babies. The sign of good health, moisture in the mouth. We can do that with this tongue breathing. Keeping the mouth closed. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the nose. Attention on the areas in the body are speaking to us with the greatest sensation, and giving our attention there with positive images of flow, resources, and the same hydration we're feeling in the mouth, send it to the area of the body. It feels the most pressure from being in this position. And then using your attention on your core, begin to rise up. Let your arms support your back by pressing into the floor as you walk your way up to seated. Palms up, elbows back, roll the wrists, roll back with those arms, stretch and open the chest. Bring the arms forward. Shift your shoulders towards the orchid side of the room and let the arms shift the opposite side, right? Bring the arms forward and do the same thing. Shift the shoulders in one direction, let the arms come in the other. Keep your sits bones on the mat. Come center. Good, let's do that again. Back in the other direction. Now, as your arms come forward, scoop your navel back round the spine, round the low back, and let your arms come the opposite direction. Let your shoulders reach in the opposite direction. Good, and come back to the center. Same thing, opposite side. Rounding back. Arms forward. Side bend. Good, and back to the center. Hands onto the knees, roll the shoulders back. We're going to add a little bit of a challenge for the core here in boat pose. There's many different levels to this. Work with the level that works for you. You can take the hands behind the sits bones to support you as you lift your feet, or you can just lift your heels, point your toes and press your toes into the floor, leaning back a little with the shoulders to engage the core. When you're ready, lift the legs so the feet are about level with the knees. And those who want more can take the arms forward, lifting them if you choose to, and feeling yourself tremble a little bit here in the core, building that core strength to support the back. At any moment, you can take the feet down. You can take your hands behind your thighs. There's lots of ways to modify this. Do the one that works for you. And now let's release the feet. Go ahead, extend the leg closest to the orchid side of the room, and then reach that arm back, lean back, feeling it opening up here with some heat, and wrap around the center. Slide the opposite leg forward, the opposite arm back, feeling it around the obliques, building that strength. Go again. Alternating sides. building that strength around the core, around the base of the spine. Now, let's do the opposite side, but this time lift the arms straight up. Good, elbows bent. Hand can come behind the head to support the head as needed, and come forward. Other side. Good, and one more of those on each side. You're going to feel it in your core. That's good. You've got this. Last one, last side. Ooh, I'm feeling it. Modify as needed. There's no wrong way to do it unless it hurts. Then that would be the wrong way to do it. Go ahead, extend the legs into straddle. And this will be our last seated stretch, and then we'll go into our reclined stretches. Let's take the arms out with the palms up, and we'll start by doing our side bends again. Palms up, reach the pinky finger towards the pinky toe, and slide back to the center. Keep working the obliques. Other side. One more in each direction. As we slide into one side, look at the opposite foot. Keep the shoulders stacked. One more time, I guess. We'll do it one more time. Since I didn't cue you up on the other side, I want you to look at the opposite foot. Try to bring the ear towards the knee. Coming down a little lower each time. A little lower, a little lower. And then coming up. Bring the arms out, shoulder level. And we'll rotate the torso using the obliques. Try not to lead with the shoulders. Rotate the torso so the gaze turns towards the footstool. Take the pinky towards the pinky toe and bring the nose towards the knee and lengthen the crown of the head towards the foot as you place the back of the hand to the opposite kidney. Both sits bones remain on the floor. Soften the shoulders. And breathe, using that technique with the tongue to bring some moisture up into the head and cooling off the upstairs as we draw the heat down to the feet. Lifting, inhale. Bring the arms back around. Twisting. Rotating torso, reaching pinky finger towards the pinky toe. It's okay if you can't touch it. Just take the pinky finger towards the outside of the shin then. Work with what you can, and then this hand reaches around to the opposite kidney, back of the hand on the opposite kidney, so that's up in the mid-back. And then we continue to move deeper into the stretch, lengthening out the back of the neck, reaching the crown towards the foot, flexing the foot, reaching the toes back towards the top of the head, and drawing the nose down to the knee helps to lengthen the back of the neck. If you can maintain both feet flexed, that's great. Adds a little extra length into the muscles on the back of the legs. Imagine engaging your quadriceps to support that lengthening as well. Begin to draw the arm that's extended towards the foot up. Rise up, lift up, reach up. Take the hand behind the head. Push both elbows back. And switch the arms. Both elbows back. Good. And take both arms out. And as the arms come forward, draw the legs together. Draw the knees to the chest. And draw both knees over towards the flower arrangement. Shift. And we'll rock just across the sits bones. Continue rocking across the sits bones. Leaning back a little bit, rocking over the low back. That's the way. Use your upper body strength to support you in this. We're making our way back down, all the way to a reclined position. Making sure that you have what you need to support yourself as we begin to extend the legs in the direction that we want them for our recline position. I like to have a little something under my head, so I'm placing it there, readying it up for my descent. I want to open the shoulders, roll back, take one vertebrae at a time of my spine into the mat. Now, of course, you can bend your knees to do this and work with what you have in your core strength to find that sweet spot of landing safely in a supportive position. And then let's go ahead and shake out the hands and the feet and call energy back out into the extremities. Keep the energy flowing through the arms and legs, and then draw the knees into the chest. And we'll do the same rocking motion across the low back that we did, preparing to descend. And then coming into a neutral position, hands to the knees. Let's separate the knees now a little wider than hip width apart. And draw those knees into circles, pulling and feeling the flatness of the low back on the floor and the spiraling energy waking up in the hips, reverse direction. Stirring the energy in the hips, seeing the stirring of the hips generate more blood flow and circulation there. And find your strap, place it around your feet. Strap around the soles of the feet, straighten the legs as best you can. You can bend the knees slightly if needed. Try to keep the knees together though, regardless. And draw the legs back. And we'll do a little rocking motion on the low back by drawing the feet back, lifting the lumbar spine, and then releasing the legs, creating that little arch in the lumbar. And we're generally rocking the pelvis, but feeling it in that lumbar spine, making contact, deepening it, losing it, making contact, deepening it, losing it in accordance with its relationship to the earth. So it's a rocking forward and back to notice what we notice in the low back, and then keep the legs straight up, flex the feet. And we'll slide our left foot out of the strap, bending the knee, let the foot land to the floor. And if you'd like to, keep the knee bent. If you're someone who likes to extend the leg, do that. The idea is that our core strength can maintain a neutral pelvis. So if we need the extra support of the leg to do that, keep the knee bent. If we have the core strength to stabilize the pelvis, we can extend the leg, and it helps again to flex the foot and activate that quadricep. And speaking of activating the quadricep, let's take the hand and rest it on top of the thigh. And we'll add a little bit of a deepening to the stretch by drawing that strap back towards the shoulder. And those who want a little more, bring your chin to your chest and lift your head up. Look at your toes of the opposite leg and lift that leg a little bit off the floor. And then lower the leg, lower the head, and then take either side of the strap. Now this will be determined based on the length of your strap, if this is accessible to you or not. First, I'll demonstrate it this way and then another way. If you can, grab either end of your strap and extend your arms, do so. And then slowly let the leg slide over towards the opposite side, but don't let it come all the way. And then with the hand on that side of the body. You grab the strap and then you pull the strap closer towards the shoulder. Feel a nice IT band stretch. Now, if you don't have a long enough strap for that, you can still do it. Just take the strap in the opposite arm and come across midway between the sides. So your leg is crossing over the midline of the body, but you're not twisting your spine. And then draw with the strap, draw that foot towards the shoulder. This can be done with the knee bent as well. You bend the knee slightly and draw the foot towards the shoulder. In fact, we're going to alternate between those. So whether you have one hand on either side of the strap, stretch across the body, or both sides of the strap in the one hand, you're drawing the leg into the stretch, and then we bend the knee and straighten the leg. And the knee and straighten. And then we're noticing how slow we're going through these movements. We're not racing through. One more time, bend the knee. Straighten the leg. Push through the heel, flex the foot, and then let that leg slide further into the opposite side of the body, letting the low back lift off the mat, twisting the spine. Of course, here if you want more, you turn your gaze and look over the arm, moving in the opposite direction, and feel what's rising up in the body as awareness through sensation. So whether you have the strap in either hand and it's a long strap and you're gliding through, or both ends of your strap are in your left hand, use your left arm and draw the hand up towards the shoulder, lifting the foot a little bit higher. If that's possible for you. And then what you can do if you have the strap in both hands is just pull down on the strap with the left hand and assist the right leg in lifting back to the beginning. Jaw back on the strap, supporting a reclined leg stretch. And now, let the leg slide over to its own side. Again, if you need to, take the strap in just the right arm if your strap is short. If your strap is long enough, you create tension with pulling on either end of that strap, pulling on at either end, and then pushing the foot into the strap as you glide it over. Maintaining a neutral pelvis, it can help to bend the knee and place the foot on the floor so that your hip doesn't rotate over in the direction the leg is moving. And then you want a little extra, you pull up on the strap on the right side. Pull it up towards the shoulder. Flexing the foot on the left leg and activating the quadricep. Get you some length in the back of that leg and the hamstring, and it can also help stabilize the pelvis. Now keep the leg low, but let it come towards the opposite foot. Instead of coming back up from the direction we entered in, we'll come down a quarter circle and then draw the leg back up. Taking the strap in the right hand, draw the leg into little leg circles. Imagine pointing the big toe, externally rotate the hip, so you have a nice exposure to the inner thigh, and imagine doing the movement from the upper leg, circling the leg. Tight little leg stir, reverse direction. And then cross the legs. Bend the knees. And reach down, taking the ankles if you can. If not, take the shins and then drop both of those knees into the chest. You'll feel this stretching across the low back, across the back of the sacrum. There's an internal rotation of the hips here. As we internally rotate the hips, it creates a nice opening across the back of the sacrum. Now let the right foot rest on the left thigh, reach through and interlace the fingers underneath the thigh of the left leg, flexing the right foot, getting a nice stretch here. And then the next level is to take the strap underneath that left foot, bending the knee, and just holding. And then releasing and rocking across the low back again. Notice the theme of rolling across the back, showing up again and again. Just like when we rub our hands and our feet, we bring circulation to that area of body. This is what we're doing. Just a gentle massage on the low back to bring a little extra tension and heat there. And then let both knees roll over to the right side and let your right foot rest on top of your left thigh. Go into a gentle twist. You can uncross the legs here if you need to, if that twist is too deep, by just bringing both knees over to the right. And then drawing the knees up into the chest. Find your strap, place it around the feet. Extend the legs straight. Begin that rocking motion, rocking the legs back and forth, feeling that sacrum Get a nice massage. It's going to be done with the knees bent, as mentioned. And then release the right leg. Foot to the floor, extend the leg. And by now you know whether or not your strap is long enough, so choose the position of the strap. Flex the foot on the right leg. Both ends of the strap are going to be on the left, in the left hand for now, as the right hand presses down onto the right thigh. Activate the quadricep, flex the foot on the right leg. Draw the left leg back, bring your chin to your chest, lift your gaze and look at your right toes. Lift the right leg, that's optional. Try to keep the shoulders relaxed, feel it in your core, drawing attention, energy, heat, and circulation to the core to support the low back for our stretch. And then slowly lower the leg, lower the upper body. Take your hands in position. Support the stretch, draw the leg back. And then glide it over the midline of the body. Going a little further, just far enough to where you get a stretch, but you're not lifting your low back off the mat. Your lumbar spine is still maintaining contact with the floor. Adjust the position of the foot as needed and bend the knee as needed here. Let the foot come a little further over if you can. And then bend the knee into the chest, draw back with the strap. Keep the right leg engaged, press through the left. Bend the knee, alternating. Straighten the leg. One more time, bend the knee. Straighten the leg. And let the leg come a little bit further over. And if you have the capacity, draw the foot up a little higher towards that right shoulder. Again, the knee can still be bent as needed. Work with your flexibility. Your gaze can shift to the opposite arm for a little bit more of a twist all the way up the spine. And draw the leg back to the center. Good. Adjust your strap as you need to. And then let the leg begin to drop down, knee towards the floor. Stretch up, press up, and then release the leg over towards the left side. Keeping the pelvis neutral, you can bend the knee on the right side again to support neutral pelvis. Use the left hand to draw the foot up a little higher if you have the flexibility to support that. Flex the leg. Contracting the quadricep, flexing the foot, activating the right leg to stabilize the pelvis. Good, keeping the left leg hovering over the floor. Slide it back towards the opposite leg, bringing those feet together, and then lift that left leg back and lower and lift. Nice stretch here. And lower and cross the legs. Bend the knees and bring both knees to the chest. So the left leg is crossed knee over right. Take the shins or the ankles and draw them in. Try and keep your shoulders relaxed. For me, the strap is conveniently on my right ankle, so I'm going to just go right into this, bending the knees. I'm crossing them and letting the left ankle rest on the right thigh, and then drawing into my reclined pigeon stretch. Releasing the strap. Good. And rocking from side to side across the low back. And gently allowing both knees to roll over to the left side, resting my left foot on top of my right knee and gazing across my right arm. And letting my body rest and settle in to the density and the gravity pulling me towards the earth. Surrendering. Crossing the knees and bringing them to the chest. I'm going to reconnect my strap on that left foot since we missed our leg circles here. I'm going to return to that as we go into our relaxation so we're fully balanced. You can keep your right knee bent, foot on the floor or extended, and then draw the leg back. Good. Externally rotate the hip, point the toe, and lead with the muscles of the adductor and the abductor. So adductor is your inner thigh, adductor outer thigh. Use those muscles to create movement in the leg, starting and stopping. Stirring up the head of the femur into the hip socket, reverse direction. And once again, place both feet in the strap. Draw both knees to the chest. And then pull the knees out away from each other towards the armpits. Straighten the legs. Separate the feet. Pull those out about the width of the armpits away. Bend the knees down towards the armpits. Push the feet up into the strap. Happy baby. And you can release the strap and grab the knife edge of the feet. And then bring the feet together. Slowly releasing the feet to the floor and making any adjustments that you'd like to for your final relaxation. Getting settled and bringing yourself to a resting position so we can tune into the body and notice what we notice and feel what's going to be felt. I like to cover my eyes. This invitation to go inward, to deepen my awareness of what's internal and become more internally referenced. Watching the thoughts, wondering what thought am I going to have next without needing to control it or change it, without needing to breathe in a certain way. Rest here for another minute. Complete presence. Rotate the ankles. Rotate the wrists. Change direction. Bend the knees. Bend the elbows. Take your hands onto your knees. Pull the knees into the chest. And then roll onto your side, facing. And then roll right onto your belly. Draw your knees under your chest. Sit back in child pose, stretching out that back. Really letting go of anything that remains that we brought up from the surface that wants to be known and integrated into our awareness. Walk both your hands away from me to the opposite side, getting a side bend. And then back to the center. Reach your arms towards me, shift your hips away from me, side bend again. And come back to the center, onto your hands and knees, arch your spine. Lengthen your spine, and the leg closest to me extends. Tuck the toes under, push into that heel. And switch sides, do the other side, stretching out the calf, the heel. And bring the knees together, crossing at the ankles, come back to your seated position. Finding your support as needed. And we'll take our hands onto our knees and just noticing what comes into our awareness. We sit. With a flexible, strong, centered mind and body, deeply rooted in the present. We can trust ourselves to handle whatever might come into our life. When we have trust, we have calm. When we have calm, we have relaxation. True relaxation. Rub your hands together. Place the heels of your hands over your eyes. Feel the heat of your hands entering the optic nerve and let it run right into the center of your brain. The medicine of your own being entering your being. Moving down the spinal cord. Now pull the hands across the face, curl the fingers in, opening up the doorway in the forehead, coming out across the temples, around to the back of the neck, curling the fingers into the back of the neck. Pull any stress or tension off the back of the neck, open that doorway as well. Then bring your hands together at the heart, being an open doorway, rooted and grounded in the present, anchored deeply into the earth. Namaste. Thank you for coming.